Ba, 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 ba. Yep, it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for me to bring my partner in crime. So
Yebo,
that's
yebo, yebo, yebo. Hustle, hustle,
hmm
my people.
yeah,
Ish. Slyso, what a day, man.
yeah,
Day,
dude, you've been
day.
busy. You've been busy coming into this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can
Um,
imagine.
it's been a day. I am caught up on, a mixture of emotions today, you know.
That's what's crazy about it.
Yeah, it's also, there's this whole thing of keeping the energy alive, and just keeping it fresh and palpable as we remember our friend to always have been. But there's also
Yeah,
this, lingering sadness as well. But let's do this, man. People
yeah.
deserve a good show today.
All right, as I usually do, take off my spectacles and say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Slyso TV podcast. It is season 2, episode number 2. Toto will join us a bit later on. Not all by myself. I'm with Ubili Bugako,
Yes,
who's
yes.
responsible for the segment all about business and all about entrepreneurship. And it's a special
Yeah.
episode. We are paying homage. We are honoring, we are most definitely celebrating our brother, our friend, our crate digger, our timekeeper,
Yeah,
our
man.
Mr. Funny Guy, all of these things. Usisa, aka Rara, aka Zizi, aka Spirara, aka so many names. Or
AKA
today,
Ceeno, AKA Seismic. Let me just
yeah,
throw that in
seismic. I
there.
was trying to think of seismic. That's
Yeah.
where that's where you guys like. I was like seismic. I remember the
Yeah,
first time I
yeah.
was like, yeah, Metro Caesar. Which one? Lois Kaya seismic. I'm like seismic.
That's
That
what
was
I call it.
him. I guess it says
Yeah.
a lot that you. I mean, like for you to have so many nicknames.
Yeah, man. I mean, Sisa had a nickname for almost everyone.
Everybody.
And strangely enough, I realized I'm just the same. I don't like calling people by their name. And he used to call me Ocean, right?
Ocean.
So, yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
let me, I think for Ama 2000, they will not
Mhm.
get this. There's a musician called, or was a musician called Billy Ocean.
Oh yes.
And we grew up,
Suddenly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We grew up jamming to Billy Ocean because our parents made us do that. So
Yeah.
I guess I became Ocean and he became Seismic. Because strangely enough,
Ah.
he shares a name with my cousin, whom he happened to hang around a lot. So it
Mm.
was Sisa, and you always needed to specify. So
Oh,
it's like
which one are you talking
Ocean,
about?
Seismic, man. Let's talk about the elements.
Wow, that is
Ah,
none.
what
That
a
is
guy.
yeah. That is none other than Sisa Nondumo, who we are honoring, and we have a very special one. I know that we set as a team, and we said, how do we make sure that
Yeah.
Sisa's legacy lives on? It goes way, way, way back, Billy. I'm not gonna go into that, but I remember 2005. Usisa drove umama wenyana wamulita to the hospital, and I was stuck in a meeting at work on the day that he was born on the 18th of January
Wow.
2005. Same year, I would launch Forward Movement Entertainment, and Usisa was there. He was always like, Stills, Isound Yako, what is this? He was one of the few. I remember Usis guys was there. I remember Unodumo, Dumza was there because I mean, like the boardwalk was so grateful, so
Yeah.
gracious to me. They afforded me the venue because I had a working relationship with them, and what I decided to do was make it a sort of like a, what do they call it, like a network session. So I
Sure.
invited other people who had their own businesses, who were
Oh,
entrepreneurs in their own right, to come along and have 5 minutes stab on the microphone to talk about their business and stuff. Usisa on the technical stuff,
that's
because I was
important
arranging
shit.
everything by myself. Sisa was there when I said that the guy that I had spoken to who was going to DJ for me didn't show up, and Sisa was like, Ngicofephi Steels, Ngicofephi, you know. That was Sisa. That was the kind of person that
Yeah,
he
man.
was, you know.
Oof, that's his kindness, bruh. We can't talk enough about it. You know,
Yeah.
and I always say with Sisa, it always felt like he knew what to say and what to do all the time.
Mm.
Like I met Sisa through my cousin, as I said, and it's one of the people when I moved to Gauteng and I got a job here. Was ready to
Yeah.
to welcome me with open arms, and we would spend so much time. And I know my friends would be like, "Who's this crazy guy? Who's this crazy guy?"
Yeah.
And he was such a lovely guy to a fact that to a point that he did not only open up his life, his space to only me as a stranger that he knew through my cousin, but also my friends. He would hit
Mm.
me up and say, "Ish, I miss your friends. Your friends are crazy. Come through. Let's do this. Let's do that." He was a kind man, always trying to sort something out, always trying to be present.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah, that's Rara for you. That's Zizi for you. He's a guy who would walk into a room. I don't know who I was talking to. I was like, since I had this thing of giving people like this gift of giving people attention. It doesn't matter who you are. It might be on the street because I mean, like we used to club back then and do all of these things. You would find Sisa like chatting to somebody. Steels, come listen to this nigga, man. It's funny. Come listen to this thing. Like Osisa was a natural talent scout. He was a natural talent scout. He had the gift of meeting somebody and say, "This one is crazy." It's like, "Oh man, this nigga can sing. Oh man, this nigga can do this. Oh man, like this." Like he connected people.
yeah,
I think that was his greatest gift, and I think from the Nondumo family, for them to borrow us. I remember Uzizom Kulu Tatawake was saying, you give birth to umdana, but umdana ukhuliswa sisizwe.
belongs to the
Usisa,
community.
from a very young age, he was ours. I mean, I was friends with
Yeah,
Udini, and Nofaz, and when they came to Joburg, I was left with Usisa. Did I have headaches of somebody who knocks at my? He was the only person who was allowed to knock at my house anytime he felt like it. It's like, yo, Steels andisedinwe. Kwakutheni mibhuruza ungathi kukude kangaka ePort St. John's? Yes, sesivela phayana ndiyopusha le Red Bull. I'm like, Sisa, you coming through, you coming through N2, you go past Indlu Kaspido no Tiny, the parents, and you come to my house in Lorraine. Like, are you crazy? It's like, no, man, Stills, I don't feel, Clyde, time is not dead, and all of this stuff. So he invited himself to my cribs all the time. But one thing I knew is that he was coming with a new album that he had discovered, and I think a lot of people got to know Usisa through Umculo.
oh
Um,
yes,
yeah, and I think there is, let me just find that picture because even coming on board on the podcast as well, he introduced us to a gentleman by the name of Synopsis. Okay, all the
hmm
way from Carolina. This is a guy who's been responsible, who works with Ninth Wonder,
oh yes,
who's
yes,
produced music
yes.
for people like Rhapsody, an artist in his own right. And yeah, so what's this? I was like, yeah, Stills, there's this nigga is coming through, man. Yeah, I want us to, just spend some time, like, have him on the podcast or have it on Umhlobo and stuff like that. We did that broadcast. Yeah, because I was still broadcasting from home. We did that broadcast, Kwasisa, that evening. And obviously, he had a braai and he had invited the team, Ninth Wonders team, over to his house, and it was just about music. I do have that clip is literally a promo, basically, for it was a promo for the episode we were going to have with Synopsis. I think I'll just play that. And while we play that, to the people that are watching from wherever you are, on the comments, whether you are on Facebook or you are on YouTube, please drop us a comment, your memories of Usisa, right here at the bottom. They will show who it's from and what your message is. So
Yeah, man.
without wasting time, let's just find out when he linked us up with Synopsis all the way from the United States of America. You know how big headed he gets, kid. No, Stills.
Yes.
No, Stills. I know people. I know people.
You know the amount of music that I would normally not listen to that I did listen to because of Sisa, and
Yep.
not in his presence even. Like I would get home and I would. That's how much he would stick,
He plants
in
the
your
seed.
head after you have encountered him. You had no choice but to just keep on going back and playing some of the things. I'm looking forward to this.
Tonight
This
on the
was
Slyso
it
TV
right here.
podcast. Join us as we speak to a Carolina native, a producer of the legendary Coolie High, as well as founder and CEO of Wax Cartel Drum Kits. Ladies and gentlemen, Synopsis. Between 7 and 8 tonight on our YouTube channel, the Slyso TV podcast.
So that was Rara. That was Sisa. That's the guy who would say, I'm linking you up with so and so. There's so much that we didn't have time for. I mean, his time with Most Def when it came down to South Africa, he
Mm.
was still working, doing the Skyroom live. I always say
Oh,
people
yes.
asking about
Oh, that was a beautiful
yeah,
time.
yeah.
It was an
Stills, are
amazing.
you not coming through, nigga? I'm like, dude, I'm in PE. What the fuck? Yo, you're gonna miss out, get my bro. You're gonna
Sorry.
miss out, get my bro. Don't say I did not tell you.
We
He
need
was a
to
friend. Yeah.
we need to have a quick chat about that voiceover. That
Oh Lord, I didn't want to
it's
comment about
it's
it. I was like,
it's
I hope that
giving
nobody does comment about it.
it's
It's
giving
giving.
ETV on a Saturday back in the day.
I didn't want to say it because that's the one thing that I picked up at the end of it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a good thing that they changed a lot of things about this. Um, yeah, there's like
Nice
plenty,
one.
man.
Nice one.
There's
Yeah.
like there's like plenty, and the banter we would have on the
Nice.
podcast, it was just too phenomenal. It was just too crazy. Usisa Hubbard dreams of becoming a broadcaster, and for the longest time we were figuring, okay, how are we going to do this? Even before he moved up to Joburg, like he shared this with me. Now I was still with doing a show with him, Hlobo. And I was like, dude, ungumalti kaloku kwazi uthetha isiXhosa. Esi isiXhosa sithetha asukami bro, now afunda amakhala teams adlala isiXhosa now. You know what I mean? But this was Urara.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and this dream would only be realized last year when he after the beautiful wife I have, who was pushing me when I was like, okay, when are you starting the podcast? I'm like, I'm gonna start, baby, don't worry. And yeah, it was also when Usisa added his voice, and then it was ideas. This is how we can do, Stills. This is how we can do. So I say thank you to Nobeta, my wife, and also to Urara, because he really pushed. He really would be calling me or texting me,
yeah.
Stills, we need to have a meeting and stuff. So for us to have this podcast, it is none other than these two people who got behind
Yeah.
me and were saying, Urara is always being a fan of whatever is new. Because if you think about it, Sisa got into streaming before everybody with Skyroom Live, in the same room with Snoop Dogg and all of those people. He was always willing to push boundaries.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel robbed a bit, because obviously, having all these wonderful memories. Imagine the excitement that, I'm going to be in the same pod as Sisa and yourself at the same time. And, with him, it was always his energy. And I was looking forward to that kind of, because Banter was his middle name and
Oh,
he
yeah.
was his game,
There's still more coming.
that to that to that energy. We feel robbed, but man, he got to live his dream, and there's a lot to be said about that. He got to live his dream before he went away, no matter how short lived it was, but he got to live it, and
Yeah.
yeah, makes me happy.
Yeah. And once again, people, wherever you're watching, if you have a message that you would like or a memory of Sisa Nonduma that you would like to share with us, please feel free if you're on Facebook or YouTube, the Slyso TV podcast or Slyso, the page, which is where you're watching. If you're on Facebook, please drop those messages, whatever memory you have of him. Like you see that ticker at the bottom, we will put your message down there and actually play it for you. And one of the very interesting ones, Usisa was, a lot of people say he was stubborn. Um, one of the things that I thought of was who is going to defend the African National Congress? Yeah, there's that picture. This was at. Come on now. Yeah, there it is coming. Usisa, we were at his place in a study when we had synopsis over. For that interview, and I was like,
Mm.
Stills, this nigga leaves tomorrow, man. There's no way. You know what I mean? So that's the
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of person. Like, he was very good at convincing you.
Mm, mm.
He was not pushing you or anything like that, but he was like, "Yo, don't miss this opportunity." So he was that kind of person. And some of the banter that you talk about, when appeals, try this one. Bam, 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 bam.
I'm on my knees begging you, please. Remember that song?
Nigga, you can't sing, so I can't tell which one it is.
I'm gonna sing for you guys one day.
Let's talk about sex.
Let's talk about sex.
Do you have a lot of people coming
Let's
in
talk
to
about all the things that you.
do
Let's talk about sex
you,
till the end of the episode.
Ah,
Yeah, nigga, you
No.
still saying I can't sing?
no, you can't, nigga. That's a fact.
The
Oh,
thing is,
man.
he couldn't sing, and both of us we couldn't sing. We used to have these trips. I think, like, when I moved to PE, I stayed in Blue Water Bay, so I was close to him. So we used to drive from Blue Water Bay, CAL, and again, Elendo, to Summer Strand. I
Yeah.
was like, every time we're feeling the song, it's like, Stills Yahiv. I'm like, yeah, Rara Yahiv. And then I'm like, nigga, don't sing, nigga, don't sing. So all of that banter, all of that silliness,
I don't even
came
think
up with
he
this.
could sing. I don't even think he could sing.
If
He
we
had,
if if
if
Caesar could sing,
okay,
he
we
would
can't
have
speak ill
been
of the dead, but hey,
the
he knows
hey.
where he is. He knows where he is. He couldn't sing. He couldn't sing. But one thing about him, man, he was always intentional. You know,
Oh yeah,
there's, there's something about Sister's intentionality that needs to be studied. You know, when
and it
you said
pushes you.
you when you said he was stubborn, I was like, I don't think stubborn. I think he was intentional.
Hmm.
And if anything you say goes against this, he always tries to not to try to put his point across more, or try to convince you in a way, but he
Hmm.
always tries to nudge you, softly towards his ideologies and what he believes in. Because as I think this guy always, I think somehow had this computer that pre-planned all these experiences. This, yeah,
It was
man.
that. You're correct. It was very intentional. It was
Uh,
very intentional, and it was supportive. It doesn't matter what it is. I know that, like, took a stand and got into a lot of people's back hairs for standing up. And especially around things that had to do with women, things that had to do with
mm,
children. As much as Uzizi didn't have, children of his own, But from calling my son Tutus from when I was born, and I'm like, Tutus, no, you know, like you would have such, and I mean, like the love he had for his nephews and nieces.
Nephews,
Usisa would
yes.
leave a good time and go and you know attend to his nephews and nieces. So you know, I guess it never felt that thing. And someone said that because he was the last born, he was probably scared of actually having somebody who was going to compete with him as a last born. So guess it was just one of those when where he was concerned. I've got a
Yeah.
clip. One of our good friends, Mvundle, Sakila Moleshe. A lot of people will know him from Goldfish back in the day.
Yeah.
I think we hung out just recently, and we were like just uniting, and we were talking about an episode where we're actually going to have Sakila and actually just chat about everything that has to do with music, because Usisa and I never really had pictures. Like I don't have many pictures with him or proper pictures with him, because most of the time we spent talking, we spent deliberating, we spent like discussing, and we got a chance, and we asked Umvundle to send us something, and here it is.
Hey Sisa, and to everyone who loved Umkulwa Wetu, Umkulwa Wam, my big bro, Damalti. I want to say thank you so much for all the love and support you've shown throughout the years. You know, sometimes people gauge ukwazana by the amount of years that people have spent in fellowship. But with you, I think the one thing that that will be a healing factor for all of us is that you had time for all of us and you loved all of us. It's like no Sisa at any given time. You were always approachable, had such great knowledge of music, such great taste, so hospitable. My kids loved you so much, and you were always so loving to them, you know, and you taught me to be kinder to myself, to love myself, value myself, you know, the puhlise, you know, my value as umdu. And I just want to say, bro, we love you so much. We miss you so much. I miss the banter. I'm gonna miss the banter. The St. Andrews versus Woodridge banter was always a downhill scale. And then the other way, Arsenal versus Chelsea. You know, I used to always revel in the fact that, hey, Kiwe, you would make sure to rub it in. We love you so much. We send condolences to your beautiful family, Osisbako, Mama, Konotata, all of the beautiful friendships that you've maintained and watered, and you've planted beautiful seeds for us to continue to become as great as you were. Siyakuthanda sizakukumbula from Sakile Mole.
AKA Mvundle. Yeah, man. Yeah, very talented musician. Yeah, it's amazing how these circles would work. Hey, you calling me? I'm with the Sakila. It's like Nipi. You know, when I lived in Sunning Hill, I was like Nipi. So I'm coming through, and the other way around. And his love for children, his love for music,
Oh, yes.
is out there again. And speaking of banter, there's like so much around banter. I mean, like I couldn't get enough videos Rara around banter. Here's another one, and this was an episode that I think he had gone out or something previously, and then yeah, and it got busy. I think they were prepping for one of the film festivals or Quest or something, and he missed an episode. And listen to his excuse
Food
here.
poisoning, not alcohol poisoning. I don't know. I think I ate something because that evening
One of those at Tobin.
I was hugging it like we were best friends. I'm telling you.
That can only be alcohol. Don't
No,
mess with me.
I'm telling you.
I'm looking for a doctor now to get me off that shit.
Get you off what?
To get me off alcohol, man. Just tired of
You need to be realistic, though.
So yeah, no Zizi.
But I'm not soz. Listen here, man. I've got no desire to quit.
Let's take a break with us, Zizi. You know, pace yourself.
Yeah, come again. What is a break?
And
Yeah.
all this stupidity we turned into a campaign around alcohol abuse and stuff, and that banter always there. And these are just some of the little stupid little fun things we would have on the podcast that we actually
Yeah.
enjoyed. Isikezo ke into yakhe, like usisa, you will
Of
never find
course.
him apho kungagezwa khona.
Ingathi ndiyamva nangoku esithi, Ocean, no man, no, awukwazi ungaseli. That's wrong. No, Ocean.
No, and you know still uyabila nobila. And you don't still umdala wena, no, you're gonna go to me, bro.
Ay.
That would
Yeah,
be
man.
Rara.
Yeah.
So we took that, and I mean, like, that crazy banter, and we turned it into a promo that speaks to actually awareness as far as alcohol
Yes, of
is
course.
concerned. I've got another friend, Uzama. Yeah, fellow Kaiser Chiefs fan. Osisa is that person who will make sure that they point out something or someone of significance. So I don't know what we were looking for. We're still trying to put the podcast together, like trying to set up your studio and stuff. And there's a cable we're looking for. So we rush to Rosebank Mall. Okay, we rush to Rosebank Mall, and Osisa and something like still. Yabona salon. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, ungayiqheli. I don't know why I'm not seeing your thingy bills. There we go.
Ah,
Yeah.
am I back?
I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah. So we walk into into the shopping mall, and I was like la salon. Yangenelwa stills. I was like, okay, why are you going to point out like Ilandika Nje out of the blue? He's like, no, Yamazla Siswe, Landika Lumke, Kaiser Chiefs, he own Wanguye. So I'm reminded by this clip we're about to play because he was such
Azangathi la saluni yam.
right. He took ownership, and I think like that's
Oh,
one thing
yes,
he
yes.
about, like,
Iplans zikasisa zizakhe. It
they're
is.
very strong. Like,
Just,
his people
yeah,
are his people.
yeah.
It's like Mazala Buena. So I remember it was this was during the Sunday where Sisa's partner Umangutyana Sisinyameka decided to organize like a day where we celebrate to Sisa, which was a Sunday, bringing his best friends to celebrate for the last time things that Sisa loved, which was a braai, which was a game of soccer or music or a movie. So we got to do that a Sunday before his funeral, and this was just one of the memories from there, from one of his good
Because
friends.
you were honest, we loved you for it. And because you were always willing to have the fight or say the thing that was awkward, which was weird and funny at the same time, but then it made us love your genuineness even more. You would call out everyone on their bullshit, which was weird for me. Because you always running a touchline, what is friend, unfriend abantu, not block abantu, but still you didn't care. That was who you were. You know? Yeah, man, you're a torchbearer. So when you get there, wherever this place takes us to, after this place, you know, tell them I rocked it. I had awesome friends. I have people who came to my wake. I have niggas that love me. I loved and I was loved. You have people that are loyal to you, Sisa, because that's what we were to you. You invoked that in us, which is why I think all of us are here. You should see, the wake is full of people, bruh. Yeah, so it's weird. Everyone is trying not to cry, and everyone is trying to run and look cool. But deep down inside, all of us. Cheers, buddy. I'll see you in the next place, man. And yeah, do not let anyone else put their playlist. We're waiting for your.
Uzaba knows this. Uzaba knows this all too well. Lucy said you'd be coming there, and it's like, still, I'm gonna go take a shower, quick shower, nigga. And I'm like, yeah, where's the remote so I can play some? You guys like, don't worry, I've got a playlist for you. Like, there's this new kid I need you to hear. So his relationship with music was something amazing. It was something amazing. I think I mean, like, from that video, there is a collage I'm gonna play towards the end. You can see, I think 99% of the people that are there, apart from family, they met uSisa through Indo enomculo phakathi. You know, he lived for music, and one thing I wanted to point out is, like, people always had this thing, what does uSisa do, you know? And I've always said, the world over, uSisa was a salesperson, and I think taking that from growing up in a family that was into business, so he had the gift of the gab, but he was just not a bullshitter, like a person who's just gonna go sell any and everything that he doesn't believe in. I guess that's why he had his stint with Abo Lantikabo Red Bull, and he also worked with Zizi, Tataki Ulantiku Speed, you know, at the store, and he couldn't keep a job because uSisa, he was looking here. Gogelapa is supposed to be doing this. He's looking there. And he's gonna go and ask like, what do you guys do? How do you do? He asked a lot of questions, and I think that's one thing that people should and can remember about uSisa. That's why he was so knowledgeable. I was even saying, like, if you're talking to uSisa, remember, I had this sneaker, Adidas or Nike, and I'm wearing it for the first time. It's like, Steels, Rodman is gimme. I was like, look, look at the new shoes, nigga. Rara. We're here for something else, and you going on about. But one thing about him, he was just not a person who was always like looking dapper or anything like that. uSisa would tell you, like, Adidas released on 19 so and so, it was worn by so and so, it was thinking. I think that's one thing that people always miss about uSisa. He was quite knowledgeable. He was he invested in knowing and in talking about things that he knows, you know. I think that's one of the greatest ones. The person we're going to play later on has sent us a message, and actually just for other people to like think as well. I'm sure you can see it on your screen, Bills. Xolisa Ilita. Loving the show, Slyso. Great tribute to Ceeno. And by the way, he happens to be the next tribute we are going to play. So I was saying to the people that are watching is that you can do the same as well. You just send your message, whatever you have in celebration or a memory that you have, like a Sisa, Ceeno, Rara, because we've taken this entire episode to dedicate to him. And we have a very special thing coming up later on, where we are going to, is it immortalize? Like when you keep something, is it immortalize? Immortalize. Yeah, we're definitely going to be doing that towards the end of the episode. If you want to find out what that is all about, stick around until. Now, moving on to some of the people that actually we're friends, like one of my best friends, a friend of the podcast as well, Xolisa Ilita, counselor. An entrepreneur at heart. This is a guy who opened and ran a multi-serve. You know, I think he was still doing his articles or something. He was still in school. I was like, Xolisa, where do you get all this money? He was like, yeah, I think it was a partner. He took over multi-serve in Green Acres. And I was like, you know, for the longest time ever, these are people that uSisa had around him. And with each and everyone, he had a story or they had a story. And this was...
Rara, I didn't think I would be here. But it is what it is. I'm remembering all the moments that we spent together, and those are moments filled with laughter, obviously, and Chanam, I will miss you forever. I'm trying my best to be strong in this difficult time. It's hard as hell, but at the end of the day, I will be strong. And till we meet again, my nigga, take care, man. You know, Nobando yethu suka kude. Ndandla ukuya kwa bakwetheni ngiyokubona wethi every day. Usithi empinga uzobona mna ukazojaya. So I remember all of that nonsense and everything else. Boy, I remember our lost conversations as well. I'm just hoping that wherever you are, there are Aussies that are looking after you, and that we will definitely meet again. Knowing you has been an absolute pleasure. Peace.
Yeah, that's Mr. Elita there, Mr. Highlighter. Yeah, or Mawawa also sending a tribute out to Rara. Yeah, man, so many memories, so many memories. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, just checking up with bills. There is so much. Like I'm going through all of this stuff. Bills. I don't know whether I put you out. Let me see. Was it me? Was it you?
I have no idea, but I'm glad I'm back here. You know the one thing about Sisa's people, they're just like Sisa. And I think it's a blessing to be able to choose your tribe. I look at, some of the people that he surrounded himself with, people like, Mr. Elita, who just, gave us the tribute. People like yourself, people like my cousin, these are just all passionate people. Also just taking back from what you were saying about UX and running the multi-serve, and I mean, look at you, all your endeavors. He was always intentional. It goes back to that intentionality about who he spends his time with, who he surrounds himself with. And I can imagine for someone who was as passionate as Usisa was, if he were to end up in a space that was just completely, where he was misplaced. You can imagine all of that energy and that he always brought along. So I guess it was always important also for him to find himself in spaces with people that could accommodate, the person that he is. Not that he needed any accommodation or anything like that, because he was just simply awesome. But to surround himself with people that can bounce off, that's, the energy that he gave off.
Yeah, and I'm actually like, we will both agree in Dogbana. Usisa chose the spaces he occupied or he got into. Usisa, you will never find him. I don't know about these, his early teens. Like, I mean, like all of us were naughty at some point. But Usisa. A lot of people say he had an old soul, like he resonated with people that were way older than him, so you will find him wherever it was constructive, wherever there was an opportunity. And your background has a lot to do with that, the spaces that you occupy. And I think having three siblings ahead of him, he could see in the manner like nah, and there's a go Glenda be nonsense fuzile, that type of thing. So I'm not gonna make that mistake, So he grew up kind of careful, but at the same time, damn, he could have a good time, that nigga. But anyway,
are you trying to say Utafaze Mandela or
now you're going back to Madiba when we're talking about every generation has to have its own Madiba.
Me.
A person that they are going to throw in jail, a person that they are going to beat up.
So that the rest can have an easy transition.
So far as you took one for the team, man. We were, I think, the day after the funeral, I was hanging out with the family as well. for those ceremonies. And I remember talking to Tata Mncinci wakhe uZonzo, about the banter between the two of them. It was just so crazy. The love those guys had for each other. But like it was always portrayed as if it's like, yeah, I hate you, nigga. It was like, Zakmura sis, Zakmur. Ah, sugar tafaz. So that kind of love. I think I have another promo here. Did we go the way? Yeah, we did go through the Talib. There's one that comes from the ladies, the two ladies that he went to varsity with them.
My name is Unati, and this is my friend Neo, and this is our lovely Sisa that we met at Vets many years ago. A friendship of 26 years. We will dearly miss our friend. We will miss his laughter, his vibrant soul, and just his caring nature. This is very unreal and so surreal, but it is what it is, and we trust God, and may his soul rest in the light and in peace. We love him so much. Thank you.
Yeah, we love you, Sisa, my twin. So we were born on the 5th of September 1982. The both of us.
So yeah, we love you so much. Rest in the light, my friend, and we'll always cherish you. Thank you.
I'm listening to the music or the noise in the background. Those are spaces that Usisa occupied wherever he wanted. I remember I had this friend that they worked a Red Bull Bobabini with Jakes. For some reason, I think I was still living in Woma at the time. He had this thing of like, there's a party going on at Woma Heights, Okanye, there's a party going on at Krahakama, and there was, for some reason, still, it's either you are going with us, but in Swahili, like, like you always wanted to be around a space where there's music, where there's noise. And I think Sisa Day, which was organized by Unyami, was a true testimony of that. As once again, I said, we'll see when we go through those collage of pictures from Sisa Day. I'm trying to find another video very quickly because there are plenty. Remember when I said, Bills, when I said Usisa, the African National Congress is going to go through a lot, because on the podcast, off the podcast, he was an African National Congress diehard, like nobody else. And he had a funny take, always defending. So we would always, those are some of the things that I'm going to miss. And I remember this promo coming out of that as well. So now I just ran out of space, so I'm just loading directly from where we're getting it. Here it is.
You have no idea. I'm such a fan. When I met him one time, I was like, Uncle Chrissy. I got in. Call him, Dad. Call. I got caught up in the moment.
I was like, I'm looking for a picture where he is looking like the described and spoken about Tiger. You know how journalists be malicious? They'll always catch him with his mouth open.
That's my main man, Greed.
That's Greasy. That's Greasy for you, bro. I want to play that again.
I love that man. Hi, man.
And part of the reason why I'm celebrating him today, it is the fact that these NGOs are all about, what about people's lives? It's
human
like,
rights
you telling a person who's busy stealing the country's minerals, you say you want human rights for those people.
He's so right. We must not play down the illegal element of these miners. Firstly, you are mining illegally without a permit, but before that, you're an illegal immigrant.
Imagine Greasy and a mouth building. So that was him. He had his own take of on politics.
I've asked him a couple of times how much they were paying him. I was like, I was like, I mean, are you getting anything? What? It's like, no, Ocean. A matter of principle. Hey,
can't go back to Amapulu. I'm like, nigga, you went to private school your entire life, and now you
Yeah,
come in like,
man. Yeah.
no, my bro, no, my bro. We can't let these whites. Can't let these whites. They also had their time.
Yeah.
So true to it, true to Zizi. That's one thing. Like his conviction was something you could never mess with. It doesn't matter what it is. He would stand by it. So as I was saying, that like African National Congress has lost a real one in him. I don't know how he would have done as Minister of Sports or something like that. I'm trying to find as many as I can from what I loaded in those very crazy, crazy, crazy videos that we had. And his whole thing about let's see this. Let's see this. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam, bam.
I'm on my knees begging you, please. Remember that song?
Nigga, you can't sing, so I can't tell which one it is.
I'm gonna sing for you guys one day.
Let's talk about sex.
Let's talk about sex.
Do you have a lot of people coming to
all the things that you let's talk about sex. Till the end of the episode. Yeah, nigga, you still saying I can't sing?
No, you can't, nigga. That's a fact.
That's basically where we were. Yeah, Bills, we just 15 minutes away from the top of the hour, which should bring us closer to concluding.
Yeah. I must say, I never thought I'd be relieved to finish working, because this I love doing. But I must say, today has been a bit of mixed emotions, and bordering mostly on the sad. And I think we're just sad for ourselves, really. I'm not sad. Sisa lived life,
Oh yeah.
Sisa went and saw Beyonce, dude. I think in Amsterdam or something.
All right.
I remember. Yeah, he went and he came ocean, and he knew I was dead jealous. I was green with envy.
Yeah, under the beehive.
That's one of the things, one of my takeaways. He lived his life unapologetically. He laughed loud, and he didn't hold back, man. Sisa gave everything that he had. And it made me think about a lot of things, Slyso, just the last quarter of the show. How often, because you remember the last text we got from Sisa was probably a week before he passed away.
Yeah.
And he sounded very upbeat, man. Sounded very upbeat, beautiful, and always looking back to coming, back to the platform. And it made me think about, the amount of courage that this guy had, in him. And I ended up, comforting myself and asking myself, if I were him, would I have the same, courage, to hold it up until the very last day. But I want to hold it right there for now, because I think my parting shot to my besties, the entrepreneurs, is around that.
Oh. Yep, I think we should be heading over. What have you prepped for us today?
Nothing. Nothing, but I did come across a very inspirational lady, Gifila Murubani, from Giving Wings. She gave a guest lecture that I listened to, and I wanted to share some of the things that came from that lecture that actually resonate with, today's message around Ceeno's life.
Yeah, I think we're gonna head over and obviously start officially to go to the Business Rap podcast with Obili Bukako. But before I do that, I think there's a message. You guys can keep those messages coming. Kaya Siabulisa sending love for our brother, Mr. Nondumo. He won't be forgotten. He definitely won't be forgotten,
Definitely.
especially with this what we have right here. This is going to make sure that he lives with us for as long as the podcast is alive. At this point in time, Bills, I think let's head over to the second episode
That's true.
of
Entrepreneurs. Hi, guys. Ooh, it's definitely not one of the nicest days today on the show, but the show must go on. I was reflecting back on Sisa's life, and as I just said now to Slyso, looking at the amount of courage that he displayed in the face of adversity. And something said to me, this is, of course, not new to the world of entrepreneurship, you know, where you have to keep courageous because courage is not in the absence of fear, right? When we're being courageous does not mean that we're not fearful, you know. And I find myself asking, how did Cesar deal with the moments of doubt when the fear creeps in and the doubt gets overwhelming, you know. And I thought of, how many times have we faced these scary situations? Think about the day or the first time you had to go pitch for funding. It could have been to your friends and family. It could have been at home. It could have been, at a bank or anywhere. But where you had to stand up, the amount of fear that engulfed you, the amount of doubt about yourself and your abilities that got to you at that time. It could be, if you're already in business, it could be the first time you had an unsatisfied client or customer. You know, I remember the first time where somebody returned underwear because it was torn for some reason. I felt like the whole world was crumbling because I feared, I had all these doubts about what does this mean for my business. How many other people are going to have their underwear torn? They're going to send it back to me. And maybe you're a farmer. Think about your first drought, the first time you encountered drought, right? And my mantra for today, my mad mantra for today is fear is my companion in this journey of life. Okay? Fear is my companion
companion
in this journey of
journey
life.
of life.
Let me tell you what I mean about that. Fear tells you are in the right place. I remember one of the first jobs I ever took up in Gauteng required me to stand in front of very big people and deliver presentations and stuff like that. And I would almost piss myself with fear. But I would do very well, surprisingly. And the minute that was gone was the time I knew this was not the right place for me. Because fear demonstrates a lot that you care and you still respect your craft. So the minute there's still fear, the minute you still feel a little nervous before sitting in front of this camera and delivering something, it means that you're still there and you still respect it. But you must always remember because also fear can be crippling. So there's a healthy amount of fear, right? How do we get there, right? You must always remember that, and this is what Kifilo says. Bravery is the ability to face fear head on and still carry on. So you look at the fear and you say, uh-uh, you're not going to do anything, right? And still carry on and do what you need to do. And how do you remain brave, as an entrepreneur? So she's crafted these 5 steps, which basically it's an acronym BRAVE, right? The first one is build a support network around you. So we always talk about, business as a business person, you can't live in a silo, you can't operate in a silo. Build a support network around you, people that you can always bounce off when the fear becomes too overwhelming for you. Have someone that you can call, someone who understands your space, who understands your situation, who's probably also an entrepreneur or a mentor or a friend, right? Reframe criticism. You will always be met with criticism as an entrepreneur, be it on your business model, be it on your product, on anything that you do. There's always going to be something or someone who's going to tell you this is not how it's supposed to be done. Reframe that and take it in a positive way. More often than not, we take criticism in a very, bad way, and we almost beat ourselves up more than anything else once that happens. So we need to reframe that and take it in as a positive thing and something that we can always grow from. Reconstruct it, reconstruct it. Use the don't as I can, I do, and that's how you start working on a positive, mindset and a positive framework. Frame of mind when it comes to criticism. Accept failure as a learning opportunity, move forward, and forge forward. If you fail once, failure is the biggest lesson you have in life, right? Take it and move forward. Focus on your vision always, man. When you started your business, you had a vision. Focus on it and don't remove your eyes on the ball. And lastly, engage in self care. Entrepreneurship is sugar, baba. Like it will do a lot of things to you. Take some time out, take care of yourself, go to the gym if that's what pleases you, take a hike, but take care of your body. So be brave in the face of adversity, and that's how you stay courageous. Peace.
That is his story, and he's sticking to
And
it.
I'm
That
sticking to
is
it.
sticking to it. Yeah, man. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, man. Kind of, I mean, like as you've explained, kind of somber, but it is what Usisa would have loved us to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
To actually continue being courageous, to continue because he was fearless. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Caesar didn't have like somebody that he couldn't talk to or he couldn't approach. And once again, he always asked questions, which I also think like should be a podcaster. I mean, like an entrepreneur's best friend or mantra as well.
Sure,
To ask questions. You know,
sure.
so in his legacy, and I think the time has come, and before we do that, we're going back. We said this entire episode we are dedicating to Rara, and for some strange reason, my pictures are failing me because what I wanted here is a picture of a very phenomenal person who played a very pivotal role in Caesar's later life in terms of whatever he chose to do. And I said this in a different tribute video that we understand. I mean, like we're all friends. We understand, like each other as friends. But as people, we grow up. As people, you meet in Dom because Banban, not only Mr. Banban, that you're not even related to, and you come together, you have a relationship, and you form a bond. And I want to say to Onyameka Matikizela, Omangutyana, Usisa, I saw his life change
Mm,
for the better. I saw Urara with that same bounce he had
yeah.
when he was young, and carefree, and confident, and all these things that were sort of like a shelled or for
Yeah.
whatever reason, and that I saw when Usisa met and was in a relationship with Unyameka. The spaces that Usisa occupied, as we said, now you'd be talking here in Usisa ingqondo yakhe ibe elsewhere, and I think it was once again Mamsutu who would curate and actually because as men we want to be everywhere, whether it's our dreams or whatever, for his family to get behind him, to send him to Mauritius, to follow his passion, to come back, to be going to Ivory Coast, to go and work in like thingy, with Udini Tizozo, making sure that like they look out because they understood that he had the ability for it. And it was Onyami coming into the Joburg Film Festival, the Joburg Film Exchange, where he excelled, Usisa, from his love from movies, and also with our team. With Quest TV, to think Usisa like worked on a company that was discovered by Quincy Jones, at Quest TV. It was his passion, and it was, I'd like to believe, having this partner that allows you to be yourself, that allows you to find whatever it is that you are passionate about. And we would see this on social media. It's like, this guy is always like watching movies. That was his passion. It ended up paying him at the end of the
Yeah.
day. And it was this
Much.
phenomenal woman who stood by Sisa and made sure that through his last days, he was a happy man. At
We
just
love you, Nyami.
Nyami, we love you a lot.
We
I can
love
talk
you.
forever, man. I can talk forever. But Kuvutondaba, we said, Bills, that
What do you have there?
we want to keep Caesar's memory alive on the podcast. He will always be a part of this podcast. And we thought of ideas on how to do that. We're thinking getting two Arsenal, Kaiser Chiefs and Arsenal jersey, get a picture of him. But it was just going to be something that was going to be stationary. You know what I mean? It was just gonna hang here, and that is it, and have no purpose. And we just look at it. But I thought Ndobana Urara would have loved for his legacy to continue, for his character that got so many of us to love him and to draw from, in terms of strength and everything. So I thought of this.
Ooh, what is that?
I
Looks like an
thought of
award. That
this.
looks like an award.
It is an award, and
Tell me more. I love awards. They usually come with money.
yeah, grab, bro, grab.
They usually come with money. So
You know what I mean. This one, we haven't engraved it yet. Um, but it is the Sisa Nondumo Courageous Citizen Award. That is going to be a floating trophy on the podcast. So every episode we are going to honor, we are going to look at courageous people, as courageous as Usisa was, as fearless as Usisa was, as fun loving as Usisa was. It doesn't matter what sphere of society the person comes from. We will have people that we nominate at the beginning of each episode, and we will encourage our viewers to actually vote for who will be holding on. It's a
I
floating
love
one.
it.
You know what I mean? So this is the Sisa Nondumo Courageous Citizen Award, and we're gonna find it a spot where it's actually visible. And every episode we are going to afford it to a courageous South African. So that is what we have to make sure that we immortalize Rara Usisa Nondumo. So that is the last one that I have. So starting from now on, through a feature that is going to be on the podcast, it is this award, making sure that we honor whoever is deserving of the Sisa Nondumo Courageous Citizen Award. Yeah, so there it is. So you can grab it as well if you like pills. But you know what you're gonna have to go through. Phenomenal stuff, phenomenal stuff, phenomenal
Yeah,
stuff.
I love awards, man, and I mean, yeah, I'll start working hard, in order to be to be
A
deserving.
recipient. All right. And
Yeah.
I think I try to think of music and Sisa yeah, that was his thing. That's what kept us, I thought in playing this collection of pictures that are actually from Sister's Day that was organized by Ola Unyam and the family. People in places like Nelson Mandela Bay didn't get to see, or have anything in Sisa's honor. So I went creeping with my camera, just to grab a couple of pictures, just for people to get a taste of what it was like when we say that we celebrate a life, we don't mourn a life. And I think I'm gonna play with that. It doesn't even have a background. Yeah, so it's just gonna be one of those. I'm just gonna check. Let's find out if anybody has a great show, guys, live. Leave on, Sisa. This one comes from our yeah, sister company, Campscapes. Yeah, Campscapes is camping that went to Model C.
Oh
So
yes,
yeah, it's
yes,
glamping. It's
yeah.
basically, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So we say thank you so much for that. And I know that they've got an event coming up around a vinyl camp thing that's going to happen. So in the coming episodes, we will take a look at that for those people that want a break. But for now, I think I want to let me find that collection of. Yep.
Yeah.
That is it. A moment of silence, and also just reflecting on the love that this guy showed to people, came
That
back
he
to,
was. Yeah, that
that
he
he really
was.
was. Yeah. I think we've clocked. You see, he's not here to be the timekeeper. Stills, we're
Yeah.
going over
We're
time.
going over.
We're going over time.
Listen, let's end it now because I don't want Sister coming in. It's like, oh shit, you let him go over time.
All right. You are new to the podcast,
Please.
and look at you.
You are new and you're already learning bad habits.
Bad habits.
It's been lovely. It's been an honor.
Oh man, stickler for time, and we say thank you very much. And I think before we go, one more time, Rara. Yep, that is it, Bills. I think it's time for us
Yes,
to
brother.
say goodbye to our viewers until the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Do follow us on our YouTube channel, the Slyso TV podcast. And a lot of people are, why you guys not available on TikTok and all of that stuff, guys? Yeah, we work a
We're
gazillion
coming.
hours. They are coming. Thank you so much.
We're coming.
Bills, thank you so much, my bro.
Cheers, man. And keep doing good. We might be giving you that award.
Oh, yes.
See you again in 2 weeks' time. Cheers.
Thank you.